ahead.
Greetings, Earthlings.
We are Johnita Francis and Trish Rock, empowerment influencers.
No fluff conversations about life, empowerment, freedom, and spirituality.
And thank you for joining us for this episode. We are episode number 12, and we are very honoured to be sponsored by Holistic Bliss magazine.
We are indeed.
Hey, we are nearly teenagers.
We are. We
Yeah.
can get attitude now. More
You know,
attitude.
you know what we should do for next week's show? Because we're going to be teens, I think we should do an audience Q&A again.
Oh, that's a very good idea.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that, hey, because that was fun
was
last
fun.
time.
Yeah.
That would be a good teen party.
Yeah. I like the way, we can have pillow fights if we don't agree on stuff. And
Well, we could. It could be, a real
we can stay up till 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we could.
Flat out stay up till 9 o'clock.
And we'll play Spin the Wheel of Wisdom instead of Spin the Bottle. No, we won't, because we're taking Q&As. Actually,
we can.
We can.
I love the way our brains work. We both have the same.
Wait.
Speaking of the Wheel of Wisdom, let's do it, baby.
Let's bring it up.
So we need to, let's get rid of me for a second.
Oh, I can't hear you, Johnita. You've disappeared yourself. Hey, everybody who's here live. Hi. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Hopefully, Johnita will pop back in. Come on, Johnita. If you're listening to the replay on the podcast, Johnita has taken herself out of the room, and she will be back in a moment to spin the wheel. And she's back.
I went to spin the wheel, but the wheel won't stay on the... There it is. Okay.
There it is. Okay, let's spin that wheel.
Ta-da! All right, what do we got?
And we are working.
Yes, your empowered self. Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
Y.E.S. What an awesome topic.
Yes.
We're actually just talking about that as well.
We were. And, we are the empowerment influencers. So, of course, we should know a little bit about this topic.
One would hope so.
One would hope so. If not, well, just... whatevs.
Hang on to your knickers. This could be a long ride.
If we don't know anything about this topic, it'll just definitely be a pants-free show next time, won't it?
We'll be giving away tickets.
Yes, to your empowered self. I love that. And both you and I have had that conversation with ourselves many times together, but also with ourselves. And the only reason we're here doing what we do is because we said yes to our empowered self.
That's exactly right. I think when I first started out thinking what I'm going to be empowered, watch me go, I'm empowered, I actually had to work out what the devil that meant to start with, because to be empowered sometimes, especially when you're first stepping out into empowerment, you kind of get a little bit of power hungry. And you got to rein yourself back in a little bit, and empowerment becomes power over others or power over a situation, but not realizing that the more empowered you become, the less you have to power over others. So for me, that was a big journey, because as everyone's well aware, not a very nice household to grow up in. So you got your point across by being aggressive or being overpowering others. That's how you got what you wanted. So
overpowering rather than being empowered.
Exactly. So for me, I thought being empowered meant that I wasn't going to be on the receiving end of violence. I was the one dishing the violence. So it took a long time. And I know that sounds ridiculous, because I feed the field mice in the laundry, but you have to find where that balance is, and it's not always obvious. And even to us, years down the track, we've been doing this for a long time. I think the word empowerment actually changes a little bit. Fundamentally, it's got the same. Once you get that aha moment,
Mm.
empowerment stays fundamentally the same, but it's like a sliding scale on how that looks. What do you reckon?
Oh, absolutely. And for me, empowerment was not being a victim anymore,
Yeah,
and having my own power. And as I talk, for anybody who knows me here, you know that most of my posts and my talks and everything are about you get to choose how you feel.
yeah,
No matter what's happening to you, you
yeah,
get to choose how you feel. And I was allowing the external to dictate how I felt. And
yeah,
so I felt like a victim to life and I hated everybody. But ultimately, I could be in that same situation and choose to feel empowered and choose how I feel. So that's really what I like to teach people. But it's I think of some of the connotations of it are about having control and having that masculine power over people, but
yeah,
it's really not, because you can't control anybody else, and all you're doing is losing your power by trying to control someone else. So empowered, and I think that's what we try to do here in this show as well. To really give people options to take back, or step out of victimhood, or take back their right to feel good no matter
yeah,
what's happening. Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's, I think not taking things personally is very empowering as well.
I know
Really hard.
that is so hard. It's so hard, especially when you're. For me, I was used to being put down, so
Yeah.
it was really, even if someone had not even a close dig at me, I'd be thinking, "Are they having a dig at me?" So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really hard to not take things personally, and I was quite,
Mm.
sensitive. I'm gonna use the word sensitive, even though me
Yeah.
and sensitive are not in the same sentence generally. But I think it's because I was so used to being on the receiving end of bullying, that
Yeah.
I expected everybody to be doing that to me. So
Yeah.
it was sensitive whether they meant it like that or not, or whether it was implied or not. I assumed that that's what they meant. So empowerment for me really came when I worked out that it wasn't personal and that it was okay and that I was safe to feel the way I was feeling. So you nailed it in your comment
Yeah.
earlier. That's exactly. I had a different
Yeah.
approach, but the same lesson. So
It
yeah,
is. Yeah, absolutely. Because, nothing anybody says or does is personal, really. Even if they say it is, it's really not. It's their shit.
yeah. I
And
love
they're
that
they're
disclaimer.
expressing it
Yeah,
throughout, by
yeah,
being nasty or whatever, through
yeah.
hurting someone else. But
Or saying that, no offense, but
yeah.
remember that.
No offense, but like,
Yeah, I can say whatever I like now because I said no offense. So if you take
yeah,
offense
yeah.
to it, I'm allowed to be a mole. That's your problem, not mine.
Yeah. That's right. You gave me permission to be offending. Or I like this one. I hope you don't mind me saying it, but
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll agree. Like, where can you go with that? You can't even
yeah.
argue with it because you're going to agree whether you like it or not. But that's also
So
empowerment because it gives you the opportunity to say, well, actually, I don't agree. And not having to do that aggressively or not having to
yeah,
do that firmly, but and being able to keep that tone. That was the thing for me,
yeah,
not having to be aggressive so I could get my point across. That's the thing that I struggled the most with because I'd witnessed
yeah,
for such a long time people getting what they needed by being
yeah.
aggressive. And if you were aggressive, then people never challenged you. So you got what you wanted. So for me,
Mm,
that was a huge lesson, huge lesson.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Got it
absolutely.
now.
Yeah. And there's lots of other things. And I think the word yes in front of that is so powerful because not everybody says yes to stuff that comes in, the opportunities, or not everybody even says yes to life because of all their disempowered beliefs or the disempowering emotions that or things that they've taken on board that other people have said, and they're like, well, who am I to say yes to that? But that's one of the most empowering things. And even though I do have family members that just think I'm wacko, and probably other people who think I'm wacko as well, I say yes to everything. Right. And I know it was interesting when I left Canberra, because I left Canberra, I sold everything, and I'm a bit of a gypsy. I sold everything, and why are you going up there? My spirit's telling me. So half the people are going, oh, she's a little bit cuckoo, and the other half are going, oh, you're so inspiring that you can say yes and just go. So I think it's really empowered. And look, not everything I say yes to works out,
No. But
but I
how will
say
you know
yes
if you don't say
anyway.
yes?
I know, right? I say yes
Yeah.
and work it out after. And if it doesn't work out, you think, oh, well, I gave it a go. It's not for me.
And you know what? I actually think, and I had a Scottish lady tell me years ago, what's for you when they go by you. So basically, what is for you will not pass by you. So if you say yes and it turns to shit, it doesn't matter. You were still supposed to get that lesson anyway, whether the outcome
Yeah.
was positive or negative. You've learned something from that, you
And
know.
it takes you somewhere
It
else. It
does.
takes
It
you to
does.
where,
And
yeah, yeah.
I said yes to a retail job when I first moved to South Australia, and I thought, oh my God, I've never even worked in retail in my life.
You
But
would hate that.
oh my God, I just look, it was the longest 6 weeks of my life. It really was. I think probably the longest 6 weeks of everybody else's life as well.
Oh my
During this
goodness.
time I worked out, I'm not exactly a people person. However, I actually got top salesperson. And I couldn't believe it. But this lady came in and she was looking for something. And I said to her, but she described what she wanted. And I said, oh, look, I think I've seen something like this, but I'm not exactly sure. I'm, fairly new. So we toddled over and had a little look. And she said, that's exactly what I'm after. And like, obviously, you use your psychic ability because that's what you're given it for. But then she came back and she purchased a ring and I wasn't there. And she rang head office to make sure that they knew that I got that sale and not the lady, because the lady that
Ah,
was there was the manager and she didn't want me to get this big sale. It was about $14,000. It was a ridiculous ring.
whoa.
Um,
Mm,
and she said to me that there's something I said to her that had empowered her into just buying this ring. She thought she'd never had anything nice in her life. And it wasn't the usual salesperson's spiel. And honestly, at the end of the day, I didn't give a shit whether she bought the ring or not. I was just there because I couldn't do security in South Australia with the Queensland license. So knock yourself out, lady. But she said she really enjoyed the way I listened to her. I wasn't trying to
yeah,
push any old ring on her or swing her a different way. I actually listened to what she wanted. And I've
yeah,
never forgotten that because that empowered me to become a better listener. And this was
yes,
when I was about 29 years of age.
yeah,
I was all brawn and not much brains back then, I can tell you. But
yeah.
she empowered me and I empowered her. And
Mm,
at the moment, like right in that thick of things, I didn't really see it that way. And then years later, I'm like, holy shit. Like
mm,
that was a game changer for me because I just wanted her to get what she needed and that's what she needed. And I didn't really think about, and it was really ironic because I only spotted this bloody ring because I'm not a jewelry person at all. I only spotted this ring in the morning because someone had put their milkshake or a coffee cup or something down, and the ring had gone on top of the glass. And I cleaned it off, and inside the ring was this ring. Inside the ring of the coffee cup was this
coffee.
of this the actual ring was, and that's how I spotted it. So, but it's just very empowering moment, and little things in life that when we reflect back on them, they are empowering moments for us. It's just that we sometimes miss them.
We do, we do. And I just want to touch on something Felicia here in the in our live audience has said. Getting out of uh, that mode, of allowing the external to kind of affect you, especially when there's health issues. And I totally get that as well. But even in those moments where you're having health issues, you can still choose joy or fear. You can
Yeah,
still choose to find something that will lift your mood, even if you are in pain. That's empowering. And it doesn't mean, that if you're in a lot of pain, yeah, I understand it's exhausting and everything else, but there doesn't have to be fear and sadness on top of that. You can kind of go, okay, I've got a choice here. Yes, I'm in a lot of pain. Yes, I'm sick, or yes, whatever it is. Is it my choice just to accept it, or do I choose to feel better in some way, to
yeah,
think better thoughts? So I think in any situation you can you can choose how you want to feel, or you can be okay with the situation,
Mm.
because that's empowering
Yeah.
too.
I was just going
Yeah,
to say when shits just keep flying at me, the quicker I accept it and the less I fight it, it
yeah,
actually makes it easier for me, because the more I fight it, the more I think about it. The more I think about it, the more it consumes me. The more it consumes
yeah,
me, the more it tires me out.
absolutely.
And
It's
if
the
I go,
resistance, it keeps it there.
yeah, it does. It really does. Where they go, okay, well, look, this is obviously just how it's going to be for now, and I'm okay with that, and it'll
Yeah,
pass. And try to distract myself with the things that I can distract myself
yeah,
with. It doesn't
yeah.
always work. Try
No,
telling that to a lady in labor,
doesn't
but
always work.
but but you have a choice even in labor to really be consumed by the moment and the scary story that everybody tells you right before you're due to pop a child out your vagina, or you can think about the big picture, which is the child being in your arms after. So
That's
the
it.
picture that you paint inside your mind is the one that your conscious and subconscious tape will play, and that's the one
Mm,
that it will entertain, which means that the more you think about it, the more you'll bring it into your life. You'll breathe it into
yeah,
existence.
absolutely. Yeah, acceptance is a big part in self-empowerment.
It is, yeah.
Your personal power is, yeah, acceptance or resistance, and you can choose that. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, really interesting. But I think a lot of people are in um, that victim mode in certain degrees.
yeah. I do a lot
um,
of work with empaths, and
yeah,
I know that it's very trendy to be an empath. I get that it's very trendy to be an empath, but there's not actually a great deal of people that are true empaths. So, and a lot of people are able to be compassionate and sensitive towards others, or are sensitive towards others' moods. But
yeah,
and especially in our generation where we had to kind of read our parents' faces, so we knew what was going on. So in our age group, you get really clever at reading people, but
yeah.
it doesn't mean it doesn't mean, oh, you rotten little buggers, they just came and wiped me out.
Obviously, you weren't meant to say that.
Obviously not. I thought it's just gone, completely gone. But
Yeah,
it's you have choices to make, so you've got to be able to park things and move on. And
yeah, yeah,
you're doing
absolutely.
yourself a disservice when you mull things over and bring things back up and breathe life into them every single time. So you have to make that choice to accept things as they are and move on and find
Yeah,
other more enjoyable things to fill your time and your life with.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So now there's a whole heap of other, um,
What about
it,
when we're venturing out? We really want to, like a lot of our listeners will be doing that spiritual work or wanting to do something in a spiritual field, and
yeah,
it is one of the most humbling and rewarding, heart-centered jobs you'll ever do. As far as making a huge income out of it, you have to have very good marketers. I can tell you now, I'm not a marketer. I'm not a salesperson, so I will never be a billionaire doing this job. But I love it, and what I get from it as a result is is the empowerment that I have. I know that I do it well. I know that the people that come to me are the right people for me. I know all of those things. So for me, it's very empowering that I get to empower others. So
absolutely. And because you are empowered, it gives other people the permission. It's like a permission slip. Like, oh, well, she says yes to that, and she does that. So
yeah.
yeah, it's safe for me to do it as well. Mm,
Absolutely. And I
mm,
have read for so many people over the years that have gone, I really would love to be a reader, or I'd really love to do this, or I just dream about Reiki or yoga or whatever it is that their passion is. And it's the first thing I think about in the morning, the last thing I think about at night. And I'm like, well, why not do it as a business? If that's
yeah,
what your whole existence is all about, then you need to
let's
look at
do
this and go,
it.
oh, I don't know if I can run a business.
Yeah,
Well,
because
how
then the
about if,
word, well, then the word business kind of scares you as well, and
yeah,
it's just like it just scares the bejesus out of you. So even just to do it as a hobby or with your friends to
just
start with,
a
but
side
it,
hustle.
if it's something that brings you joy, then do it, because that's where the empowerment is.
Yep.
And I think, with all the current situation right now across the globe, um, there's so many people rising up now in their own power, not to be controlling, but to kind of say, yeah, you know what? I'm in charge of me.
Mhm.
I'm the boss of me, and
Yep.
I'm not going to be pushed around. Yes, I have to do this, and like me the other day, yeah, and tomorrow, yes, I have to wear a mask on the plane. It is mandatory, but I'm doing it of my own free will, because I don't think I'd want to be on the plane without one anyway, right? So you can still feel empowered, but there's probably other people on the plane going, oh, I hate this. I feel so, how dare they make me wear this?
I
And that
personally
is
would hate it.
it is very disempowering. Oh, I hated it. It was awful.
Yeah.
But, I did it, and it was my choice to do it. So I think you can still have that power to feel good about your decisions, even if they are a rule you have to stick to. And
Yeah.
that's the personal power then that you can have, because otherwise I could have sat there the whole flight for 2.5 hours feeling
With the grumpy face.
with my grumpy, resting bitch face, and not that you would have seen it under the mask, which I had on backwards apparently.
Oh, did you?
So
Oh, so
in
you're a rebel all the way through, aren't you? Love it.
well, there's no instructions on them, and I've never worn one before. And half the plane had it one way and half the plane had it the other. So I just had it one way and popped it up on socials. It's inside out, Trish. And I went, oh, okay. So I'm going to have it the right way tomorrow, but I may wear my underwear inside out. Mm,
Oh, see, I like the way you think.
mm.
That's it, empowered. It's
It's
empowering
very
yourself.
empowering.
Just don't wear a G-string the wrong way round. From personal experience, it's never a good outcome.
Especially not with tights. Not with the active wear. Oh dear. So yeah, look, I think even in the situations right now, you can fall into the trap of all the fear and all of
Yeah.
the, oh my God, what's going on? Or you can be, once again, like we said, in acceptance of it.
Yep.
Do what you need to do to protect you, maybe change things if you're an activist, whatever it is you do, or, you know, do energy work like we do, which kind of helps our clients rise up in empowerment, which ultimately helps the whole system.
Yeah.
Um, but it's your choice whether you want to feel crap like they're asking you to feel, or whether you feel good. And I had an interesting conversation today with a friend who really explained the energies really well, because you and I know that we're on different vibrations. We're
Yep.
all vibrating differently. If you're in fear and you're here and you're really scared of getting sick and all the rest of it, you're here. And if you are vibrating at that level,
You'll
you'll be a
attract the
match.
vibrations. Yep.
And she said, her family were really worried because she was in Italy and whatever. And she's like, I'm not going to get it because I vibrate up here.
Yep.
So I'm not a match to it. So it's not
No,
going to come to me. And I mean,
exactly.
I totally get that and believe that. And so do you as well. So empowerment will raise your vibration,
Yep.
and it helps in so many ways.
It does. Absolutely, it does. It's actually interesting that she raised that, and I thank you for raising it too, because the emotional scale, if you popped on and had a look at any of
Yes.
my stuff, that is a lower frequency. All those emotions, the top seven are the high frequency ones, and that's the joy and the optimism and the
Yeah.
excitement and the love and the passion. They're all at the top. It's from boredom down, and the lower you go down, the lower the frequency is, the lower the vibration or the ripple is. And when you're all vibrating on those lower levels, or anyone vibrating on those lower levels, that's what you attract more of. And
Absolutely.
sadness and grief and depression are all in those lower levels. And as soon as somebody starts changing their vibration around, they do that emotional work, they realign their cogs, they do that stuff that they need to do to let go of the trauma that's associated with that vibration, their vibration starts coming up. But it's a
Yeah.
conscious decision that they must make. You
That's it.
can't.
And that's why in the moment, if you're really empowered to choose to do something that makes you feel good over feeling bad or a victim to anything,
Yeah.
you can raise your vibration.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's yeah, I'm really, yeah. Hopefully your friend is singing that song as far and as wide as she can, because it's exactly right. And we
Yeah,
teach this as part of what we do with the emotion scale, and making sure that our vibration is up, the higher frequency stuff. The lower
yeah,
your vibration, the more shit attaches to you. Be off
yeah,
with the pixies.
absolutely.
Trust me, off with the pixies is the only way to go.
And not just health, it's relationships and friends and everything,
Yeah.
And people say to me, oh, I can't even scroll my social media pages. It's all so awful. I'm like, well, I don't see any of that. I've got all beautiful people and beautiful posts on mine. I don't see anything that's awful because I'm not vibrating there.
No, no, definitely not. And I
So,
suppose the company I keep has got a lot of conspiracy theorists. God bless you all.
and
Um,
and they can be okay until they start getting vicious or
well,
fearful.
some of them are fanatical, like
Yeah,
every situation that we find ourselves in. There's always the fanatical ones, but
yeah,
the guys and girls that I hang out with, they're very much conspiracy theorists, and for whether they believe everything that's going on or nothing or half of it or some things and not others, but their
mm,
vibration is very high, so that each of them know
yeah,
that nothing's going to touch them because of where they vibrate. It's just
yeah,
not going to attract it. It's not on their
yeah.
radar. It doesn't need to be on the radar, so it won't happen.
No, and you have inside information as well that um, which enables you to step up out of any of the fear that anyone may be creating.
Yep, absolutely. It's the
Yeah,
bullshit radar. It's well calibrated. Oh dear. But
yeah,
definitely it's all about empowering yourself and working out what empowerment means to you. How will you empower yourself? It might not be the
yeah,
same as how I did it or how Trish did it or how we
yeah,
continue to do it. It'll mean something. It's an umbrella term. So you do need to
yeah.
work out how it individually will affect you.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And it's not about drive or ambition. I mean, you and I are both very driven and we're very ambitious and very, overachievers. And that isn't empowerment. It's a definition of it.
yep,
But you can be empowered just to choose to feel good when you wake up in the morning by putting on some music
yep,
rather than having all of yesterday's thoughts going through about, oh, what if this happens, what if that happens, I heard what she said yesterday. But you can choose in that moment, okay, I'm going to shift this right now. I want
yep,
to listen to something nice, or I'm going to meditate, or I'm going to get up and go for a walk. That's the empowered moment where
yep.
you choose not to have a bad day.
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely. And it is.
Yeah.
Like so many people, they get out of bed and kick their toe. And instantly they set themselves up for a shit day because that's it. Now I'm going to have a shit day. The first little
Yeah.
thing that goes wrong, they say, now I'm going to have a shit day. And they have a shit day because they've
They
just
do.
said, okay, universe, chuck me all the shit stuff that you want me to
Yeah.
deal with and I can deal with it.
Absolutely.
Now you
Absolutely.
your day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And I mean I do that too, but I snap out of it pretty quickly now if I wake up and my head is just full of yesterday's shit. I'm just like, okay, just come on, Trish, get a grip. And I deliberately change it. And that's an
yeah,
empowered action.
yeah,
And then, things go a little bit better as I become more, raising my vibration from
yeah.
those bad thoughts in the morning. And you go to the gym to raise your vibration for the day.
Well, I can't do that now because they've now decided that healthy people should not go to the gym.
Or go outside, or get fresh air,
Yeah.
or anything.
So now I can't work out at my usual 4 o'clock in the morning. I actually have to wait until the
Oh,
gym is much, much busier with many more bodies to
maybe,
go
maybe,
then.
maybe you need to create. Maybe why don't you buy some weights and do it at home? But you could create some. You're very creative. You could create some weights from different items around the house to
I use
perhaps.
logs. I had
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I called it the what did I call it? The lumberjack workout.
Ah,
Logs.
nice
We chop the tree
work.
down, so I use logs.
Nice
But it's
work.
that's my it's my me time, and they've robbed me of that now. So
Yeah.
Because
But you're not going to be a victim to that.
no, I'm not. The poor girls at the gym are victims to me. So it's
Yeah.
actually interesting, and I'll share this because it's a bit of a giggle, and it
Mm.
highlights being how empowered you can be when you're armed with facts and you're not living in fear.
Yes.
I go to a really big gym. It's a big chain, 24/7 gym, okay? And as soon as you walk in the door, there's this big sign that says you must sanitize your hands. Now, they use a sanitizing agent that's about 70% alcohol. Anybody that knows anything or has been in healthcare or nursing or GP work, anything at all, knows that if you use sanitizers with that much alcohol on your hands constantly, you'll strip your skin integrity, and they'll get little cracks in your skin, and you'll let bacteria in, which leads to problems. Okay, so I do not use hand sanitizer, just refuse point blank. So what if the television, they have this little revolving thing that goes on the television saying that you must wipe down the equipment, bring a towel, wash your hands with soap and water as soon as you come into the gym and when you leave the gym, and some other stuff. So I always use soapy water, and I've always done that, and that's what I will continue to do because it doesn't strip my skin. So I get to the gym, I've still got my gym bag. I've got my car keys, my gym bag, my drink bottle. I've got my hands full of every piece of contaminated objects that you can possibly have. And this young lass says to me, "You need to sanitize your hands." I said, "So you'd like me to sanitize my hands and touch my contaminated items again while I get myself ready to use your equipment?" Oh shit, look on her face. It was hilarious. So my usual tactic 20 years ago would have been, "Listen here, dumbass, do you know anything about hygiene?" But I didn't. I actually said to her, "Your gym offers me options. And in those options, I have the choice to use soap and water. That's what I will continue to do. It is on your television screens. It comes up every 10 or 12 minutes." She had nowhere to go with that. I said, "Secondly, if you know about hygiene practice, you will know that it's better to have the hygiene practice before they actually start using your equipment as opposed to as soon as they walk through the door where they've still got to touch their bags and things. So basically, your hygiene practice is for nothing." Oh, another look of oh shit on her face. So I empowered her by sharing with her my knowledge about hygiene. I didn't lose my cool. I still got to use my equipment, and now hopefully they actually have an idea about hygiene instead of walking around like Gestapo's trying to fear everybody into using a 70% alcohol-based sanitizer. I
Well,
think
that's
it's a
only
win-win.
it's probably only because they've had the memo from the government. This
Yep,
is what you do, and they've been scared into saying that, and no one researches anything or questions anything.
no,
So
that's
it's just
right.
like,
And
this is what we've been told. This is what you have to do.
yeah, but it's just so it's
Mm.
like me walking in with a bag of dog poop and washing my hands before I take the same bag of dog poop out to the bin out the front. It achieved nothing. So
Yeah,
it was quite interesting to watch this girl ready to challenge me, and I'm like, there's no challenge in it. So I kept myself very neutral, kept myself very
yeah.
friendly, and just explained to her that that practice is doing nothing. You're achieving nothing, and
And
it's
that was you being an empowered person too, because you chose how you wanted to feel. If you had have done the whole push, I'm right, you're wrong, blah 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 blah,
wouldn't have
you
got
would have
anywhere.
and you would have felt really defeated, not defeated, but more angry at the end of it. So
Absolutely, it wouldn't have been
that's
taken work up.
that's really an empowered choice as well. So
Yeah.
hopefully we've given everybody listening a few different ideas about empowerment, because I think sometimes you can see leaders like Johnita and I and other leaders, and you kind of go, oh, I couldn't do what they're doing, so I'm not empowered. But
Oh, yes,
their
you can.
empowerment is in the moment, as well as saying yes to those bigger things, but it's a choice in the moment. How do you want to feel? If you're feeling really awful, can you accept that right now? This is how I'm feeling. What do I choose to do about it?
Yep.
How do I choose to shift that? What can I do right now? And look, it's not always an easy option.
Nope.
Sometimes the resistance is the easier option,
There's a little
right?
trick you might want to try when you're feeling like, oh shit, I don't think I can do this. If you count backwards from 5, your brain actually cannot count backwards and talk you out of stuff at the same time. So
Perfect.
if you go, oh, I really want to go skydiving, then your brain goes, you're gonna die. Before your brain goes, you're gonna die. Start counting backwards from 5. You will trick your brain.
Perfect.
It's a good way of dealing with anxiety as well. And there's a little pressure
Yeah.
point in between your index finger and your thumb. And if you
Yep.
rub there while you're counting backwards from 5, your brain has got no chance on earth of tricking you into not doing something.
Oh, perfect. You can snap yourself right out of that victim mode, hey?
Yep, every single time.
Wish I knew that back in 2009.
A little late on the information sharing, were they? Sorry about that.
That's all right. I figured it out for myself. It was a long, hard road, but I figured it out. So if you're hearing this for the first time, take that advice. Don't go the long, hard road.
Follow me, I know a shortcut.
Oh.
Never follow me. My shortcuts are through thistles and somebody's cow paddock.
Oh dear. And of course, in Holistic Bliss magazine, there are so many articles there that really give you different tips, tools, ideas on how to really feel empowered in your own life in all sorts of different ways. So definitely look that up, holisticblissmagazine.com. It's free. You can also get the Holistic Bliss app, which is amazing. And that's free.
It's evolve. The topic is evolve.
Evolve is this month, yes.
Yeah. So
And
this is the month for you to check it out if you want to have some empowered tips.
Absolutely. And if you want to choose how you evolve and not allow others to make that choice for you, take your power back, and you choose what you want out of your life and how you're going to feel. But yeah, heaps of amazing articles this month about evolution and stuff in Holistic Bliss. So get onto that. Or Johnita's got a great article in there, and I've got a great article on the website, and there's heaps of others on there too. So
yeah,
perfect.
Just make sure we haven't got I use that trick with my thumb and it's for my headaches and it works too. Absolutely it does.
Fantastic.
All the pressure just tricks your brain into shutting the hell up.
Perfect.
All right. That was episode number 12.
I know. We're gonna be putting up a post to ask you guys for Q&A next time. We'll do a live Q&A.
We will.
And ask us anything.
Yeah, nothing's off except, are you wearing pants? Can you prove it? Please don't ask us that.
No.
That could end badly for some.
It could end badly. So yeah, we'll do that next week. That'll be fun. And come along. Whatever you want to ask, one of us will know.
Absolutely. If we don't, we'll call in the dead guys. They will. We cheat. We should go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, even though we're not allowed to use it for personal gain.
No.
Oh, my spirit poddy would probably laugh at me, and I'd be left looking like a fool. Don't think that was hilarious. All right. Thank you again for joining us for this episode. Remember, you can join us live on Facebook page, A Guided Life Podcast.
And you can also subscribe to our podcast through Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. And there are a few others there. And if you are listening on one of those channels, please leave us a review. We would love it.
Definitely. Thank you. A big thank you to our sponsor, Holistic Bliss Magazine, and to all of you who are supporting our work.
Yeah, you are awesome, and we're loving the community. We're getting lots of downloads and lots of feedback, and everybody's loving our content. So thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys, have a wonderful week ahead, and we'll do it all again next Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay empowered. Bye.
Bye.